from Blackreach might give us a fighting chance. Let's put our heads together and figure out how to use what you learned. My father be damned. The Grey Host? Where have I heard that name? Meanwhile, my father rounded up the Harrowed and moved his soldiers to the outer walls. Then he ordered the quartermaster to stockpile Castle Dower. He's preparing Solitude to withstand a long siege. That might work against a mob of Reachmen, but thick walls can't stop a Harrowstorm. Any war we try to wage will be over before it starts if we don't find a way to stop them. Fen knows more about the storms than anyone. See what he suggests. Talk to Fen. If he has any bright ideas, I'd love to hear them. Magister Fidelia has been studying the Icereach Coven medallion, but she hasn't had a lot of success. She seems even less confident about reproducing their protective enchantment now. She identified necromantic components as part of the enchantment, as well as reach rituals. But she isn't an expert on either type of magic. Frankly, I think she's exhausted the scope of her knowledge. You mean other than hounding my father and serving as go-between for the Jarl of Morthal and the Magister of Carthald? I wrangled promises out of my father and showed our allies that someone in Solitude still cares. I got High King Svargrim to promise to dispatch soldiers to reinforce Morthal's defenses and send aid to Carthwatch. It's a start, but he hasn't actually issued the orders yet. I need to follow up with him after we're finished. Sort of. He admits he might have been wrong about the Icereach Coven, as far as that goes. But he still glares daggers whenever anyone mentions you or Lyris. So let's not bring up Fen, all right? She identified necromantic components as...
It's all right. I'm ready to help. I know what you need me to do. Put my experience behind me. Focus on the mission, just like Verandis taught me. Could you show me the research you recovered from Exarch Tzinghalis' laboratory? These notes prove my theory. Netherroot is the key component of the Harrowstorm ritual. It's like a poison for the soul. Weakens the bonds to the body so it can be pulled free. They're harvesting life energy from anyone caught in the storms. I'm guessing, but it may have something to do with those stone husks we saw. Remember how the werewolf emerged from one? And look at the mixture you retrieved. It isn't like the residue we recovered from the witch pike. It's more concentrated. It's certainly what Tzinghalis' notes imply. Despite how it looks, a plan is formulating in my mind. I think I can create an elixir, but I'll need more of this refined Netherroot brew. And we need to solve the mystery of the Coven medallions. I know what you need me to do. Put my experience behind me. Focus on the mission, just like Verandis taught me. Could you show me the research you recovered from Exarch Tzinghalis' laboratory?
See those marks? Grey Host sites that correspond to the communique we found.
Lyris knows this part of the world better than I do. See which locations she thinks stand the best chance of providing us with the items I need.
I know a commander's map when I see one. Each of those marks matches a location mentioned in the communique from Rada al-Saran, the leader of the Grey Host. I can already see where we need to go. That mark on the northwest coast, that's an Icereach Coven camp. The communique mentioned needing more medallions. Odds are, they come from there. And here, a Midlands Camp between Dragonbridge and Morthal. It's a staging ground for the Harrowstorms. More than likely. Those two locations should provide what Fenn needs to finish his elixir. We can't bet everything on that, though. The communique mentions a warlord's camp in Blackreach. Maybe we can learn more about their ultimate plan there. Svanna, Fenn, and I will divvy up the camps and scout ahead. Fenn should investigate the coastal camp. I'll take the Midlands Camp. That leaves Svanna with Blackreach. Meet up with each of us when you're ready. Then we'll hit each camp in turn. We don't have a lot of solid details, just what we've pieced together from the Grey Host's notes and communique. But I'll answer your questions the best I can. Which camp did you want to ask about? The Grey Host isn't just hiding in Blackreach now. They're mounting an invasion, and this appears to be their primary staging ground. I expect they're stockpiling witch pikes, grey reliquaries, and other supplies here, including the refined brew. From what I can tell, the camp on the northwest coast is where the Coven first made landfall from Icereach. It's as close to a home base as they've got. They've established themselves there, so I'd expect it to be well defended, if not fortified. The communique mentioned orders to produce more of those medallions, probably to keep pace with the increase in Harrowstorms. I can't guarantee this is the coastal camp where the orders were sent, but it's the only one on the map. That's the one we know the least about, but it's where a lot of the Grey Host's warlords are gathering, at least according to the communique. It's the best place I can think of where we can get a look at those orders the Ashen Lord mentioned.
The desperation, the despair. More and more of our people have disappeared or become harrowed while the survivors crowd inside the walls for shelter. If High King Svargrim doesn't act soon, there may not be a Skyrim left to save.
For all his protestations, Svargrim still modeled solitude after the decadence of the East. A Jarl should live in a longhouse, just as our fathers before us. Still, anyone who can solve our problems can drape their palace in lace for all I care.
High King Svargrim isn't making it easier for the refugees flowing into the city. He's never been an inspiring leader, but lately he's been cold, distant. I suppose watching your love die in front of you will do that.
Good. I was hoping you'd show up. Lyris was right. This camp is crawling with the Icereach Coven. And they're definitely producing the medallions here. I was even able to slip away with one. We need to get closer, though. There's more to figuring out this magic than just watching from afar. I need to know exactly how they go about creating them. With your help, we can learn everything about that here in this camp. It's a landing site for the boats coming from the island of Icereach. Plus, they're collecting something here that goes into the process of creating the medallions. If you can get me to the center of the camp, I can learn what that is. Determining how they create these medallions will be an enormous help. The Grey Host has accelerated their plans. They need more medallions for a reason. A big Harrowstorm is coming. We need to be ready. Because the Grey Host is guarding something down there. I couldn't get close, but it appeared that they built the camp to surround something. Plus, I heard a few of the witches talking. Complaining, really, about needing to prepare more medallions. In the First Era, an army of vampires and werewolves tried to conquer the land before they were stopped in Bankurai. They called themselves the Grey Host. It seems this Rada al-Saran has resurrected the army, both figuratively and literally. Determining how they create...
end approaches swiftly. We must hurry.
Corpses? What do they have to do with medallions? Let's examine the nearby graveyard. Examine the headstones. Let's determine what's so special about the exhumed bodies. There must be something that connects these graves to the medallions.
Soon we will know the taste of triumph.
Finished?
I love the smell of dead.
Well, we've both been over the headstones with a fine-toothed comb. If we can determine why the Coven dug up these particular bodies, it will tell us something about how the medallions were enchanted. Of course, compare notes and look for commonalities. You have the makings of a fine scholar, my friend. Now, let's see. I noticed there were a mix of different races buried here. They weren't all Nords. Anything strike you about the departed? They did. Tell me more. Of course. Why didn't I see that? The headstones on the exhumed graves all mentioned that the person was old when they died. Let me think. Some necrotic spells require the remains of the elderly. Something to do with the natural decay of life. According to one necromantic theory, the older a living thing becomes, the more necrotic energy it naturally acquires. As a body grows old and withers, the life inside it decays. Necrotic energy is the byproduct of this deterioration. I now know enough about how they create the medallions to move my research along. I'll return to the Blue Palace and start putting an elixir together. To fully craft an elixir to defend against the Harrowstorms, I still require a sample of refined Netherroot brew. Plus, we need to determine what the Grey Host has planned. Help Lyris and Svanna at the other camps. Then meet me at the Blue Palace.
Bold move setting up camp in the midst of the western holds. I'll say this for the Grey Host. They aren't afraid to draw attention to themselves. I learned a few things while I was waiting for you to show up. It's just as we thought. The Grey Host is using this camp as a supply depot for their raids across the countryside. I saw stacks of witch pikes, rows of reliquaries, and jars of what I assume is the refined Netherroot brew. Right. And I heard the camp leader, a nasty creature named Sableye, tell his troops to make sure to use the new supply that just arrived from Blackreach. Let's go grab a jar or two.
It'll be Harrowstorms as far as the eye can see.
No jars in this cart. Let's try another one. Time to dismember the monsters! Not this card either. I hope we didn't miss it.
Stop them, my packmate! I'll get this brew to the witches.
Sableye has the brew. Let's find him before he gets away.
Does despise. We eat them.
You got a jar of the refined brew? Let's talk over here. Luck was with us. If we had reached this camp even a few moments later, Sableye would have gotten away with the Netherroot brew. After all this trouble, Fen better be able to use it to make his elixir. I'll take the jar of refined Netherroot brew to Solitude. We'll meet up in Svanna's chambers when everyone gets back from their missions. I hope they're all... Fen has proven himself, especially after what happened in Blackreach. House Ravenwatch, they're unusual as far as bloodsuckers go. As for Svanna, she's braver than I originally thought. Anyway, meet me in Solitude after you finish up. In addition to the refined Netherroot brew, Fen needs information on the Icereach Coven medallions. Plus, we're hoping to learn more about the big storm the Grey Host has planned. Help Fen and Svanna at the other camps, then meet me in Solitude. Glad to hear that worked out. With any luck, Fen will produce a working elixir in short order. Then we can stop worrying about the Harrowstorms and concentrate on defeating the Grey Host. Which reminds me, go to the Blackreach Camp and aid Svanna.
Gods damn it! Run! Damn these Harrowstorms and what they do to my people! I came here to learn what the Grey Host has planned, and what did I find? Good citizens of the Holds, afflicted by the Harrowstorms and kept prisoner for some ungodly purpose! No matter how many I set free, the Herald will not leave this place. That's all I've been doing, and trying to get these afflicted people to leave this place. The Herald, the storm robs them of their will, their minds. I wasn't able to slip deeper into the camp, though. Agreed. There appear to be a number of Grey Host warlords in the camp, so discovering their plans should be possible. We need to be careful, though. I don't want us to wind up like the Herald, serving as food for these bastards. Messages have been coming and going since I arrived. I've heard the name Rada al-Saran, the Ashen Lord, spoken in hushed and revered tones. His name was on the communique you found, remember? We need to get down there and see what else we can learn. Hiding, building their forces, digging, undermining. That's the correct term, I think. Plus, they're collecting the Herald, herding them like cattle. It's monstrous what they're doing to these poor people. The only thing I'm sure of is I have to try. If my father won't act, then it falls on me to get things done. It's what my mother would want me to do. On the scaffold. Let's eavesdrop on those werewolves.
I left the orders in my tent, but the Ashen Lord was clear. We need more Netherroot. See to the Undergrove immediately.
As you command, Pintock.
The Undergrove? That sounds important. Messages have been coming and going since I arrived. There, on the left. Let's listen in.
Exarch Tzinghalis has fallen. I have never seen Rada El Saran, our Ashen Lord, so filled with sorrow, or such rage.
Does the loss of the Exarch alter our plans?
Not in the least. The strike on Solitude will occur as planned after Exarch Ulfra tests the improved ritual in the Undergrove.
An attack on Solitude? We need to move quickly. The Grey Host definitely has something big planned. Let's search the tents for a copy of those orders. That's what we were looking for. Let's talk over there. Orders from Rada al-Saran. His words sent a chill down my spine. Their plan for Solitude? It might even be more dreadful than an all-out attack. We need to get back and determine the exact location of this Undergrove place. You saw what happened at Kilcreath and Carthwatch. Whatever they have planned for Solitude, it sounds a whole lot worse. I wish we knew more about this Rada al-Saran and what drives him. A family of monsters? Who could imagine vampires and werewolves working together? Let alone talking about one another like brothers and sisters. It's not natural. I'm glad I got to look around Blackreach, but I can't wait to see the sun and sky again. No matter how big these caverns are, it still feels like we're buried alive down here. We came down here to find out what the Grey Host has planned. But Fen still needs information about how the medallions are created, and a sample of the refined Netherroot brew. Help Fen and Lyris at the other camps. Then meet me in Solitude. Then we're done here. I hope we found enough to end the threat of the Grey Host. I'll meet you back at the Blue Palace. Good luck, my friend.